Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner Podcast. My name is Coach Scott. I'll be your host today. It is Monday, August 17th. Hope your month is going by pretty good here. I know ours is flying by. I didn't even do a podcast last week. How bad is that? Just terrible. But we were on vacation, so I do have a bit of an excuse. But it's nice to get back here and start chatting with you guys. Lots of stuff going on. Steph and I took the girls to Cape Cod last week, so we were gone for a few days. We did make it back for the Thursday night ride. You can find that live stream up on our YouTube channel. Had a great time doing chick flick trivia. But yeah, we had a really productive vacation, a really good vacation. But I do want to touch on one thing before we kind of push ahead, and that is because I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't mention this, and I hope she's all right with me talking about her. But one of the members of Team Ordinary, a woman I coach, Denise Morris, I've been coaching for her for about, a month and a half or so. And, she came to me and she said, I feel like I just can't run any faster. I don't know why. It's just something is blocked and I run as hard as I can and I can't go any faster. And we sat down. I said, listen, let's start working together. Let's see where it goes. But I know you can run faster. And we started putting her on a plan. A lot of times when people are running and doing training, especially on their own, you go online, you find a plan. You run 3 miles, run 4 miles, run 2 miles, whatever it may be. The prescribed distance is for that day. That's what you do. That's what you run. Yeah, you can improve. You can extend your endurance. You can run farther, and you can get faster. You can lose weight. You can do all that stuff with those plans. But I had when I was in high school, I had a track coach. Her name was Miss Bailey. Miss Bailey was a very good track coach. She was also my math teacher. And actually, I didn't run track. I played football, I played baseball, a little basketball at times, but I didn't run track. But I knew I had Miss Bailey as a teacher. She was a great teacher. And I felt like playing football, I was a quarterback, and I felt like I was a little slow. I wanted to be faster. I wanted to, we ran a little option, we ran a little stuff, and I wanted to be faster. I wanted to be able to run the ball, which typically I was handing the ball off or throwing. And we didn't even throw that much. Typically, I was just handing the ball off. But I wanted to be able to run myself. I wanted to be able to take on that responsibility, especially as I got older and in high school. So I said to her one day, I said to Miss Bailey, I said, how should I go about getting faster? And she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I go out and I run a mile. I go out and run with my friends. And she said, well, what kind of speed work do you do? And I'm like, I don't know. I run some hills sometimes. I run the bleachers. And she said, well, if you want to run fast, you have to practice. If you want to get faster, you have to practice running fast. And that was her comment to me. If you want to run faster, you have to practice running fast. And I thought to myself, man, that's so simple. Such simple advice. And when you think about it, geez, if you are struggling with the watch, right? And not about distance, but if you are struggling with the watch, right? You think you can run a lot faster. You've been running 10-minute miles and you think you can run 9-minute miles. And then you look at your plan and you're not practicing running fast. Well, how do you think you're going to get faster? And so we took Denise and we started doing some high intensity interval training. We started working on her cadence. Her cadence was a little bit slow. She has knee issues too. So, as a coach, that I felt like that would help out her knee issues a little bit too. So we worked cadence. We worked intervals. We did a little short tempo runs. We basically had her running faster than her mile pace, and we tested her out. And Denise, I hope you don't mind me talking about you on the podcast. I'll ask you to make sure it's okay before I put this out there. But we tested her in the first week, and she ran a 14-minute, 30-second mile, so 14:30. And she said, I'd love to run 12-minute miles, but she's like, I know it's going to take a lot of work, and honestly, she's like, I don't think I can run faster. I've just never been able to run faster. It's kind of like a mental block there, right? It sounds like something like that. I can't run faster. Like, you can. And I knew she could. So we've been working, and she works hard. Let me tell you, rarely does she miss. And sometimes she does a little bit extra because she's not a good listener, are you, Denise? Not a good listener. But anyway, she's not. She's a terrible listener. But she's been working really hard. If anything, she did extra work. She didn't miss workouts. She's tough. And she came out and she ran some hills with me one day. She was in the neighborhood doing she's a truck driver. She was dropping some stuff off. We did some hill work together, and I'm running with this woman. I'm saying to myself, man, she's not a 14:30 mile. She can do better. We're running for like 5 minutes at maybe a 13 to 13 and a half pace, and she's talking fine, having conversation. So I know this woman could probably run a mile in 13 and a half. And one of the things that came up in conversation was we talked about the fear of success, which is a real thing. And I could go on about fear of success for a long time, because it's hit me with some other obstacles personally. It's hitting me, right in the face at times. Fear of success. We'll talk about that at another date for my personal stuff. But, I think it stems from, hey, if you're not an athlete, you're not used to being an athlete. You didn't play sports in high school, or you did, and it's just a long time ago, and you don't really remember, and you don't really feel like you're competitive with your peers. There could be, body issues where, if you listen to people and you don't have a runner's body, and you might not even hear that. Someone might not say that to you, but it might just be in your head. You might be telling yourself that. And how many people, we've been on this podcast now 4 years, by the way, 4 years doing this podcast. And how many people have that same issue, right? You don't have a runner's body. You ran a marathon. How many people, how about Tamara Johnson saying, like, people were like giving her running advice, and the woman's run a 50-mile race. The body issue, the body shaming type issue in running is real. And I don't know what the specific hang up really is for Denise, but, she's like, I just feel like, I think she just felt like she's not a runner. She wants to run faster. She wants to be a runner. And if I'm off there a little bit, Denise, you can correct me on that. But it's that fear that kind of holds you back as you're out there, as you're testing, as you're trying to do the work, that, hey, I'm no good. I'm not good enough to do this. This is a joke that I'm out here. People think I'm a joke out here. People think, I'm not good enough, whatever you tell yourself when you kind of bring yourself down, whatever that may be. Well, Denise has been working hard, and she went out there yesterday, and she ran a 12-minute and 42-second mile. And she bettered her mile time from 14 and a half to 12:42, almost 2 minutes. Almost a 2-minute improvement. And I talked to her about the run yesterday, and I'm like, man, because I tell you, as a coach, it's like, she asked me, what do you think I'm going to do at my run tomorrow? And I actually wrote in my notebook. I have a notebook, things to do every day. The day before, I wrote Psych Up Denise, specifically because of the fear of success issue. Because I told her, what I said there, I said, listen, you have done this work. You have been working your butt off for a month and a half. Whatever you put on that watch tomorrow, that's, you've earned that. You've earned the right to say, I've improved and I've done better, and I'm better at this than I was a month and a half ago. And this is the payoff that you're giving. You're paying yourself off for all that hard work, right? If you go in there with that sort of kind of, I hate to say loser mentality, but that negative mentality of, just another run that I'm going to fail, just another run that, when you've done the work and you deserve the payoff, man, you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up. And what struck me about Denise's success yesterday was when she talked about it afterwards, and she said, I got to that last 10th of a mile, and I was struggling. She's struggling, having trouble kind of putting the foot down, and staying with that pace. And she just said, she was close to giving up and saying, hey, this isn't me today. I'm going to have to slow down now and be my back to my 14-minute pace. But instead of quitting, she said, I only got 10 a tenth of a mile to go. That's all I have left between me and success. And she put the pedal to the metal instead. Instead of quitting, she put the pedal to the metal. She went faster. Because she's earned it. Because she's earned the right to do that. She's earned all that hard work. She's earned the right to get that payoff. And man, when she texted me in the morning, she sent me a picture of that time. I mean, I was so proud. I was so proud. I mean, this is like turning the page in this woman's life. This is like, man, this is holy hard work paying off. Almost 2 minutes. I mean, for you guys that know, if you guys, if you're not a runner, maybe you don't understand. But man, I mean, all right, 1 minute and 48 seconds. Still, my God. She asked me the day before. She said, "What do you think I'm going to do tomorrow?" And in my brain, I'm going, I ran hills with her. I know she's capable of doing like low 13s here. But I don't want to tell her that. Because if I tell her I think she's capable of that, it might be like overwhelming to the brain, right? As a coach, you kind of have to temper your expectation, the things that you say, right? Because you don't want to overwhelm, you don't want to, if she thinks that if she runs a 13:30, that she's going to disappoint me, even though she's improved her time by a minute, I don't want her to think that. So I said, I think you're going to do like 14:05, which was still a 25-second improvement, which is very significant in a month, a little over a month. It's very significant. But in my brain, I'm thinking she's probably like 13:20, 13 and a half. So when I saw the 12:42, I was like, my God. I mean, she pulled that out. Man, I'm so proud of you, Denise. That was awesome. And that was the best part of my week, especially my weekend. That was the best part. But we did go on vacation last week, and I'm going to kind of switch the subject there and talk a little bit about that. Because, I have two types of vacations, right? I have my traincation. When I'm on, training is on, and I'm focused. I have that I got to get stuff done. There's no going outside of that training for me. I have to get it done. And there was ways I could have trained on this vacation. I could have woke up early. I could have gone out for a run before everyone else woke up, set the alarm. But I felt like it was going to be a little different. And I've done that before. I've done it successfully. We did a whole podcast on it before my first Ironman. I was gone on a family vacation for like a week. And it was something where it's like my brother's family, my sister's family, my father's girlfriend, all that. Everyone was there. It was no saying no. I couldn't say, hey, I want to stay home to get my training done, even though I might understand that. They probably wouldn't. And I'd like to stay in my family. I kind of enjoy them. Mostly. Yeah, I do. No, I actually enjoy all my family. They're great. Anyway, I was trying to think of a snarky remark, but I think anything would have offended them. Not that they listen to the podcast either. But anyway, I went on that vacation, and I remember setting the alarm early to get in the pool. They had 2 pools, and it was a resort, and it was one of those things, if you wait till like 8 a.m., all the kids are in the pool, and you're not going to be able to do it. So I set my alarm for 6, or it might have been even earlier, 5. I think it was 5. And in in Springfield, that's Springfield, Mass. At that time, it might have even been Boston. No, Springfield. In Springfield at that time, it's light out. No problem. Get in the water, you go swimming. But the resort we were staying at, it was dark. It was still dark. And I rolled out of bed and I'm like, what's going on? I hadn't planned for that. I hadn't even thought about looking it up to see, where in the time zone we were to see what time the sun would rise. So I had to go to the pool in the dark, outdoors, and swim. It was really strange. I got to tell you, it was a little spooky. Kind of sneak into the pool area, jump in the pool, go for a swim. But when you're focused on training, you find a way. You just find a way. So I got my swims in there, and I did some biking, and some treadmill running indoors at the gym, some lifting, all that stuff. I got that done on vacation because I was so narrowly focused on making sure that that was the main thing. The important thing was getting my work done, and I did. This past week, not unfortunately, but this wasn't one of those times. I've been kind of, my discipline has been waning. It's not 0 yet. But I've had a kind of a rocky year. I started off as a house of fire. I was coming in a little bit less disciplined after last year. Sort of after the Ironman I did last year, it was a little bit downhill from there on. Slowly, less and less, lacking discipline, and it snowballs, right? And it gets worse and worse and worse. I kind of woke up to it in January, and I was on fire. waking up early in the morning every single day, even the weekends, getting on the bike, getting stuff done. Felt really good about it. Really, really good about it. And then, one day comes around, instead of doing the morning ride, I'm going to do it in the afternoon. So I decide to sleep in. Then the next week you sleep in for 2 days. Then you kind of, and all of a sudden your routine kind of gets blown to bits. And now I'm sitting here, I don't wake up early any day. Just kind of the way the year has been. And so this week I decided I packed up the computer and I was going to take it with me and I was going to try to do some running. And at the last minute, I said to myself, this isn't going to be one of those vacations. This is an our vacation. This is rest, relaxation, recuperation, rejuvenation, any of those R words that you can think of and apply to vacation. That's what it was for me. But I think it was necessary. I do think it was necessary. And, the time we were there, we went on the beach, we went in the pool. We just kind of vegged out. We stayed at our resort, ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner there for the few days we were there. At night, we put Ellie to bed. Sam would be running around either talking to her friends on her iPad or hanging out with us. We would open a bottle of wine, not for Sam, but just for me and Steph. We were about, we were in about 50 feet, maybe a little longer from the ocean or Nantucket Sound. I don't know if that counts as the ocean, but it's the ocean, salt water, waves. So if the wind is blowing, the waves are there. If it's not, then it's kind of calm. But, so we're hearing the waves crash. We see the lighthouses in the distance. We see the lights going on. And it's kind of quiet. Stars are out. And it's just nice to kind of just relax. And we've been busy lately. So it's been, it's been sort of difficult to find time to just sort of chill and just kind of, take sort of a bird's eye view of what everything that we've been doing and what everything that's going on. And, the one thing that I kind of felt was that lately, even though a couple podcasts ago, I said I was going to start training for an ultra. That's still in the back of my mind. But I haven't followed through with it. I mean, immediately after declaring that, I had a little bit of issue with gout in my toe, which makes it impossible to work out for 4 or 5 days. Then we had the power outage, which although it's not an excuse, you can still go outside without the power. It was a trying time. It was frustrating, and I'm noticing here that I'm just making excuses. Vacation excuse. I got excuses after excuse after excuse. And, it reminded me back to January. I used to say that the phrase that it reminded me of was fight for your routine. And I used to say that. I said it so many podcasts in a row that I made myself sick every time I'd say it. But man, how poignant at the moment. My routine is gone. It was gone. So over vacation, I'm sitting there. I'm like, I just got to wake up early again. I tell you guys a lot. I watch a lot of motivational speakers. I do. I tell you what I love to do is take a motivational speech and love to send it to my clients that I work with and have them watch it if I feel like they need it or that they're in need of something like that. I do that. So I like to look for things that I can embrace and concepts that I can embrace and then use. And so some of the motivational speakers I've been watching lately, Eric Thomas is one I always talk about. So when he talks about waking up in the morning, if you guys know Eric Thomas, my passion wakes me up in the morning. I don't need an alarm clock. My passion wakes me up. I need an alarm clock. And the funny thing is, I know what he means because I've been there, and I've been there to the point where I've had stresses in my life that just didn't matter. The way that they affected me like neurologically, and I didn't need I would wake up 2 minutes before my alarm every single day. No matter what time I set it for, it was like an automatic. It was a very strange time in my life too, very stressful. And as that stress waned, so did my ability to just kind of wake up on my own. So I need that alarm clock. So Eric, I'm sorry, man, but that doesn't work for me. The alarm needs to be set. And then I'm watching The Rock, right? The Rock. He's got awesome videos out there. I know maybe you guys think, he's just a wrestler guy, but he's got some really good videos out there. Talking about his back against the wall, stuff like that. I love it. He does a really good job. But one video, he's like, people don't see the work I put in. I get up at 4 a.m. and I do cardio. And I'm like, ooh, all right. That's more than I do, but that's probably why he's The Rock, right? That's probably why he's like 6'6" and 300 pounds of muscle. But man, you watch that and you watch the video and you watch him working out in an empty gym and you're like, man, I can do that. I could get up early. Maybe not 4, but I can get up early. If he's getting up at 4, I mean, I got no reason to complain to wake up at 5:30. That's right. I got no leg to stand on there. And then I'm watching David Goggins, and if you guys watch Goggins, it's a little bit of a different vibe. It's, can I find what sucks and then just do it because it sucks, right? So David Goggins, he's like, what time do we wake up in the morning? Well, I'm setting my alarm for 11 p.m. because it sucks. And then he probably starts his day. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. If you know Goggins, you probably know what I'm talking about. But anyway, I just decided while I was on vacation that I need to start getting back into this routine and getting up in the morning. And so I decided to make myself accountable. And the way I did that was I decided I'm going to live stream my early morning rides. So this morning I got up, I set the alarm for 5:10. I did hit snooze twice. Then I was telling my brain this. I was telling my brain, if you're still in bed at 5:30, then you are, and I think I probably used a word that starts with P that I shouldn't say, but you're lazy. You're lazy. You're lazy. I know it doesn't start with P, but let's just say that that's what I said. You're lazy if you don't get up by 5:30. Now, so if I set my alarm for 5:10, 2 snoozes, that's, do the math, the 9-minute snooze, the International Convention for Snooze that I must have missed when they had that vote that said 9 minutes was the perfect time, the convention, to have snooze alarms. So do the math, 5:28. At 5:28 this morning, boom, I was up. I laid out all the clothes. I had the live stream all set up, ready to go. And I got on that bike and I rode for, I think that I'm doing a training program that I set forth for myself. And it's a Zwift program, but it's the beginner 6-week FTP builder. And I selected that for a reason. I don't want it to be, a lot of the Zwift programs are super intense, like super intense. And if you watch, there's some videos out there that will tell you about them and how in some cases, in many cases, they're not smart to do. But the beginner program, number one, it's for beginners, so it's not that super high intensity all the time. And number two, it's early morning, and I have to supplement this with other workouts. I'm training for triathlons and potentially an ultra, so I need to supplement the ride. The ride is the base level workout that I get in the day. And then I got to supplement that with running, swimming, other more bike. Obviously a Thursday night ride, we're not going to be taking away. But yeah, I got to supplement that with a lot lifting and all that stuff. I got to get back into that stuff. And I've been having trouble lately just doing one workout a day. Forget 2. And that's one of the reasons why I feel less disciplined, because I'm not getting that second workout most days. I'm getting 1 and not 2. And it's making me feel bad. So if I can just get up early in the morning and check the box, at least I've got one done. At least, so in case I have a bad day, so on a normal bad day, I do nothing. I do 0 workouts. So now, as long as I wake up in the morning on a bad day, I will have done one, which is leg up, right? You're starting the day off well. You feel good about it. You feel better about it. And I tell you, I feel good today. I know it's weird for me to say, like, I feel good after waking up in the morning because I don't normally, I haven't felt like that lately. But today, right now, I'm sitting here doing the podcast. I feel really good. I feel really accomplished about that workout that I did this morning. And we're going to be doing them every single morning, hopefully for this foreseeable future. If you guys want to join me on meetup rides, that's cool. Let me know. I don't expect anyone to kind of be like, yay, 5:30, let me go. 5:45, I think, is when I started, right around then. So that's kind of like the goal time, 5:45 a.m. Eastern time. And if you guys want to ride with me, that's totally cool. You can do your own thing. We can do the keep everyone together mode. You could do my program right alongside. That's fine too. It's all good. It's all good. Let me know. But I'll be on that bike in the morning because I have to. Sometimes you have to just make a decision whether or not you want to be an athlete or whether or not you just want to be like part-time athlete. Casual athlete. And as a coach, it's one of those things that I can't do that. I can't do that. I got to set a good example for myself, for my athletes. I have the time to do it, and I just have to make the choices to do it. So that's what's going to happen. And I hope to see you guys. Hey, wow, we did 24 minutes today. That's not so bad. Again, apologize for no podcast last week. Really apologize for not telling you. We're going to have Matt Scaletti on tomorrow, so we'll try to get that turned around by Wednesday, midweek sometime. John Martin will be with us Friday night for our happy hour. Get signed up for that happy hour, guys. You got to register. Go to our Facebook page, Ordinary Marathoners, our discussion group. Register for that. I hate to say spots are going to go quickly. quickly. But we have 100 spots. And I would love to see you guys there. If you're hearing this, you're invited. John Martin is an awesome motivational speaker. He's a local guy. We had him on the podcast about 2 years ago. And I got to tell you, there's still some nuggets he gave me from that day, from that podcast, that I still keep in the brain, rattling around in there and say, wow, that was some really good advice that I keep using myself. So I'm sure he'll be dropping some of those on Friday night. And I really look forward to that. Happy hour, Friday night Team Ordinary happy hour. Get registered, meet us on the Zoom meeting, and remember, every day is an ordinary day unless you make it extraordinary. So get after it, guys.